Today, we're cracking open the human code. We all think AI at work is about boosting productivity, right? Making things more efficient. Well, it turns out the real reasons we either jump on board or hit the brakes are a lot more human, and frankly, a lot more interesting.
And this really is the big question in everyone's mind, isn't it? Is AI this amazing new tool that's going to unlock our most creative ideas? Or is it something else? Something that's quietly learning our jobs, ready to take over? This tension, this promise versus this peril, that's what we're digging into today.
All right, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to see what actually happens when AI walks through the office doors. And for that, we're diving into a fascinating master's thesis. It did something pretty cool. It went inside a huge global tech company and zeroed in on the communications department. You know, the storytellers, the strategists, the people whose jobs are all about human connection. See, for decades, we've had these standard playbooks for predicting if people will use new tech. They're based on a really simple logical idea. If a tool is useful and it's easy to use, people will adopt it. Simple. But what this study shows is that AI, well, it's kind of breaking the mold. It's just different. And that difference brings us right to the heart of the conflict, this huge gap between how useful we know AI can be and the real anxiety it stirs up inside us. On the one hand, when you look at the promise of AI, the results were just crystal clear. The professionals in this study totally saw AI as a useful tool that could genuinely help them get their work done better and faster. And the data here really speaks for itself. Look at this. On a 5-point scale, improving productivity scored a massive 4.31. Increasing efficiency wasn't far behind. I mean, with numbers like these, you'd think AI adoption would be an absolute slam dunk, right? But as with any good story, that's only half of it. These rational, logical numbers, they don't capture the full, messy human picture. And this quote from someone in the study just nails it. It is a helper, not a final product. You can hear the nuance, can't you? They see the potential, but there's that hesitation, that clear-eyed understanding that a human still needs to be in the driver's seat. Okay, so this is where we get to the real heart of the matter. What's truly driving the way people feel about AI in their jobs? The researchers went a level deeper. They didn't just ask if the tech was useful. They asked a much more profound question. In this new world of AI, what is the one thing that actually predicts whether or not an employee feels secure in their job? So what was it? Was it the logical stuff, like how useful the AI is, how easy it is to pick up? Or was there something else, something hidden, bubbling just under the surface that the old models were missing? And you know what? They put it to the test. They measured all that conventional stuff, usefulness, ease of use, but when they ran the analysis, neither one of them was the real predictor of an employee's confidence. The answer was somewhere else entirely. After they crunched all the numbers, after sifting through all the data, the analysis pointed to just one single, powerful predictor for why someone felt their job might be on the line. And we're not talking about a gut feeling here. This was statistically significant. For anyone who isn't a stats nerd, a p-value this low is basically a flashing neon sign. It's the data screaming, hey, pay attention, this is not a random coincidence. And that factor, the one with all the statistical power behind it, it's fear, plain and simple. So think about that. It wasn't about logic or productivity. The single most powerful factor driving low job security confidence was the raw human fear of being replaced. It's an emotional driver, not a rational one. So if the problem is fundamentally human, what about the solution? This brings us to the most important part of our explainer. What does a human-centered future with AI actually look like? And this is where it all clicks into place, right? If the number one hurdle isn't the technology, but a deep-seated human emotion, you can't just throw better code at it. The solution has to be just as human as the problem. And the study doesn't just leave us with a problem. It gives us a clear 3-step playbook for any organization trying to get this right. It all comes down to open communication, role clarity, and personalized training. So let's break that down. It starts with open communication, creating spaces where people can actually talk about their fears and hopes without being judged. Then, you need absolute clarity on how AI makes their roles better, shifting the focus from replacement to partnership. And finally, the training can't be generic. It has to show each person exactly how these tools fit into their day, their projects. So, when you boil it all down, the big takeaway from all this research is pretty simple. Getting AI right in the workplace is way less about the code you're implementing and way more about the human culture you build around it. Which leaves us with one last question to chew on. As we all move forward into this new era, is the biggest challenge we face with AI actually a technical one, or is it a fundamentally human one? This research suggests it's the latter. And you know what? That changes everything.